Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So there is lots to negotiate on this video today, but big breaking news now is coming out in regards to David De Gea. I haven't spoken to you guys about David De Gea in a while and that. So according to media outlets quite recently, should I say, reportedly now we could fear losing David De Gea in the January transfer window and that. Obviously it did say earlier on this summer throughout pre-season that it said that David De Gea had agreed terms on a new deal, and that he did say he was set to sign a 6-year deal worth up to around 375 grand a week and that. And obviously we was waiting for the contract to be announced, but as it stands now the contract term has not yet been announced and that. Obviously we do know that Manchester United have been in negotiations for several months over getting David De Gea a new contract and that. But I think it did say, was it prior to pre-season, and it said early on this summer that they had been breakthrough in negotiations, between the club and David De Gea's agent George Mendes and that. And now reportedly it says, according to the Daily Mail and the Sun, we've offered him around £350,000 a week and that. Obviously this figure would make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and that. But reportedly David De Gea has turned this new deal down and that. So reportedly now he could leave Manchester United in January. Don't forget David De Gea's current contract expires at the end of the season and that. So obviously if we don't obviously get him a new contract, obviously we want to cash in for him in January, of course, rather than letting go on a free transfer next summer and that. So I think now we've got quite a few goalkeepers on our agenda who could replace David De Gea at the football club, and that reportedly we've instructed scouts to keep an eye out on Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid. Obviously we was actually in for Jan Oblak throughout the course of the summer and that. Reportedly as well we've showed an interest in Dinamo Zagreb's Dominik Ligovic as well. He's their number one goalkeeper, of course. But if David De Gea does leave the football club and that, obviously we're definitely going to need a replacement for him, because we've got a few other goalkeepers as well. Obviously we've got Sergio Romero. Obviously he's under contract with the football club until 2021 with an option to extend by a third year. But obviously like I said last season, Sergio Romero is not reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. So obviously Romero is our second choice keeper. Obviously Dean Henderson's gone back out on loan to Sheffield United for this season as well. Obviously we know that Lee Grant's injured. Obviously Lee Grant's injured. Obviously it got confirmed a couple of weeks ago that Joe Prior's gone out on loan to Hearts, so we're definitely going to need a replacement for David De Gea. It was subject to a lot of transfer speculation throughout the course of the summer anyway. Obviously it did say that PSG were interested in it. It did say they were regarded as the favourites to get David De Gea in that. Reportedly now PSG are prepared to pay around £30 million for his services. Actually throughout the course of the summer we was demanding quite a bit of money for De Gea, and it did say we was demanding that we wanted around 60 or 70 million pounds for him. I did say a full amount. I'd say David De Gea is definitely worth up to around £100 million and that, because he's regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But I did say early on this summer we will not get £100 million for De Gea, because he's got just under a year left on his contract term and all that. But we do know we want to keep David De Gea at the football club, because obviously he's very imperative. Obviously we do know David De Gea has been here 8 years, so he has been a long serving here. This is now his 9th season at Manchester United and that. Of course he has made 300 appearances in all competitions for the football club. Obviously he's won everything here domestically in that, and obviously he's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the past 6 seasons, based on his impressive performances. But David De Gea has been here, of course, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. Obviously we do know David De Gea's performances were way below par in the last 2 to 3 months of last season, that he was making costly mistakes and that. But I did say at that point that was due to the contractual situation that. But I think we must have been in talks now for around 19-20 months, of course, over getting David De Gea a new contract at the football club and that. Don't forget, reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting David De Gea, but due to fax machine, of course, the deal never materialised. So we have not got David De Gea a new contract. They did say he has agreed a new deal in principle and that, but the contract term has not yet been announced. And obviously, if we do continue with this inconsistency in that, because we've enjoyed a bad start to the season anyway. We've only won one game out of our first 4 games in that. We've only managed 7 goals and already conceded 4 goals this season. That, and obviously, if we're not competing for the top 4 by the January transfer window, obviously, David De Gea, of course, is going to want out of the football club anyway. He has still got a lot of development in him, as David De Gea. I think he's 28 or 29 years of age and that. But I did say, certain players, will want out of the football club anyway. With our lack of competitiveness and that. Yeah, but so we could lose David De Gea in January, because I don't think we'd be orchestrating on wait until the end of the season to let David De Gea, of course, go on a free transfer, because obviously the club would want to cash in for him and that. But yeah, reportedly we could fear losing David De Gea, of course, in the January transfer window and that. I think also Juventus were in for him throughout the course of the summer and that. But David De Gea on his contracts at the moment, he's on 200 grand a week and that. So if he was to sign this new contract worth around 350 grand a week, obviously it'd make him the highest paid in the club's history. It'd make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and that. If he was obviously to sign this new contract and that. But anyway, it did say actually early on in the summer that David De Gea was demanding that he wanted around 350 grand a week to sign a new contract with Man United, and it actually said he was willing to meet his wage demands in that, because obviously at one point we'd offered him around 300 grand a week. Obviously we do know that David De Gea had turned this down and that. But like I said, we've been in talks of getting him a new contract for over a year and a half and that now. But now there's been a change of scenery now, because we could lose him in the January transfer window. But it looks likely it was looking very imminent early on in the summer that he was going to remain at Manchester United, and it said he was going to be signing a 6-year contract worth up to around 375 grand a week and that. And it did say he was going to be under contract with the club until 2025, and it did say his contract should have been actually announced after pre-season that. But obviously this hasn't obviously happened and that. So we have got quite a few keepers on our agenda who could replace him. Also was in for Jordan Pickford, don't forget, throughout the course of the summer and that. So that's the latest news on David De Gea. But like I said, quite a lot of players now have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that. Obviously, we've seen Antonio Valencia leave at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we saw Ander Herrera, of course, leave the football club. It was a shame that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. Obviously, he served 5 years with Man United. We've had quite a few long-serving players at the football club. These still long-serving players now here at Manchester United. Obviously, Marion Fellaini left back in the January transfer window after he served around 6 years at Man United. Obviously, we saw Romelu Lukaku, of course, leave the football club again. We didn't recruit a replacement for him, and you can obviously still see the deficiencies and that in the squad. But I think in that aspect it was really good business for Manchester United, getting rid of Romelu Lukaku and that. And I think it was good to see us, generate a substantial amount, for a flop base. Because it was good to see us recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago. But I think Solskjaer, he gave his overarching view on it, and he explained the reason why we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku, to obviously prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood and that. Obviously, we're seeing confirmed last week Alexis Sanchez gone to Inter Milan on loan. Obviously, we do know it confirmed couple of days ago that Matteo Darmian, or was it yesterday that Matteo Darmian, of course, has left the football club for the Serie A. He's gone to Parma. Obviously, Chris Smalling's gone on loan to Roma and that. So actually, 4 players have departed the football club, to join the Serie A and that. But obviously now we do know anywhere that the European transfer window is shut and that. I still believe maybe a couple more players do need to leave Manchester United and that. But yeah, quite a lot of players have, left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that. But like I did say, I think, we've enjoyed a really, really difficult start to the season, that, and I can see where the problems are, to be quite honest, we're not creating enough chances, we're not being clinical enough in front of goal. Maybe we are creating chances, but, like I said, we're just not being clinical enough in front of goal. I do believe, we are lacking that leadership in the team. I think we need someone who can create more chances and all that. Because analysing our squad, it is a pretty decent squad, to be quite honest, but it isn't good enough, to win the league or, mount any kind of title challenge up and that. And I did say, we won't be challenging for the league or win the league, at least in the next couple of years and that. I did say our expectations this season, will be to finish in that top 4 and that, maybe win some silver. And I did say at the start of the season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations, because if he doesn't, obviously, his job will be under a serious threat at Manchester United and that. And I did say our aspirations, will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. Obviously, we haven't won the league, since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season. You could quite frankly say Robin van Persie, won us the league back in 2013. Reflecting on the amount of goals and that he scored and that. But like I did say, I give my overall analysis on it. We haven't been the same team, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But yeah, I think our expectations this season, obviously, will be to finish in that top four. And on analysing our squad, I think it's definitely good enough for a top four finish. And like I did say, with the dimension of this football club, with the history of this football club, we should be up there challenging and, of course, winning their silverware and that. But, we're just not doing this. Because for me, the performances are not good enough in that. And I thought, we had a fantastic pre-season that, won six games out of 6. We scored 12 goals, only conceded 3 goals and that. And I said at that point, I think we're going to have a better season this season. Then we've got off to a remarkable start with a 4-0 victory over Chelsea and that. And then since that 4-0 victory over Chelsea, it's just seemed to have all gone wrong, basically. Obviously, we dropped 2 points away to Wolves. We quite frankly deserved, to not win against Wolves and that, because we played well in the first half against Wolves, but was quite poor in the second half. And then obviously, we dropped all 3 points against Crystal Palace, losing to them for the first time in Premier League history and that. And we had a lot of chances in that Crystal Palace game. We had over 20 odd shots. We had the majority of the possession and that. But we just didn't take our chance in that. We need to take our chances. That's very, very imperative indeed. And then obviously, we deserve to drop 2 points against Southampton at the weekend. And analysing, Marcus Rashford's performance the weekend against Southampton, it was very, very poor. Obviously, the opportunities was there for him. He didn't latch onto them crosses, which Marcus Rashford, should have. I did say with Rashford, he still hasn't emulated to that level as yet. I don't think Rashford's had a terrible start to the season. I think prior to his penalty miss against Palace and his performance against Southampton, I think Rashford, did well in the opening 2 games. He also did well, throughout pre-season. But I still believe that Rashford is the long-term solution for Manchester United. But Rashford's performances have got to improve this season anyway. Rashford's on a big contract now. He's on over 200 odd grand a week. It does rise up to 300 grand a week, based on the bonuses and all that. And Rashford was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season. He was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season was Rashford. But I still said at that point is a long-term solution for Man United. He has been in the senior squad with us since 2016 as Rashford. He's been a United player, since the age of 7, and I still believe, he's developing, fantastically well in that. Obviously, Rashford only was playing centrally against Southampton. Obviously, he was fulfilling Martial's role, because obviously we're doing at the start of the season, it got confirmed that Martial's being given the number 9 shirt. He's playing more central this season. But we do know Martial is out with injury at the moment. But for me, I think, the likes of Daniel James, he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Obviously, we do know that we paid around 18 million. Well, it was 15 million pounds with add-ons included, which did rise up to around 18 million pounds. And I think he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I thought it was a fruition throughout pre-season. I think he'll be a fruition this season. Will Daniel James? He's already scored 3 goals so far this season. That my overarching view on him, he's still a prospect, and you've got to obviously say you've got to give him time to develop and that, and there's still improvements needed in his game. I think his crossing that needs to improve, maybe needs to improve a bit in the attacking third of the pitch, and that can play on each flank. And Daniel James, we've actually mainly started him on the right this season, but we've also put him on that he's supposed to be more effective from that left, but we've actually mainly started him from that right hand side. But I think Daniel James has had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career in that, and we paid a reasonable figure for him. We paid a reasonable figure for Daniel James, compared to what we paid for the likes of Lukaku and Paul Pogba and that in recent years. We paid a reasonable figure for Daniel James. I think in that aspect it was good business from the football club. Obviously, I think also Wan-Bissaka, he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career, and that obviously he's our first choice right back this season. We have got quite a few right backs in the team, but obviously Wan-Bissaka is the first choice, and I think Wan-Bissaka, he's got all the ingredients required to become a huge success at Manchester United. We have seen glimpses of how good he is so far. He can intercept the ball well. His distribution, that's really, really good. His defensive abilities in that are really, really good, and I think he's been fantastic. He's replicating now at Manchester United what he did last season with Crystal Palace, because don't forget Wan-Bissaka only made his senior debut back in February 2018 and that, and we paid £45 million up front for him, obviously with £5 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise up to £50 million. So obviously, Wan-Bissaka is he's on that list of one of our most expensive signings in that. And obviously, with Harry Maguire, I think he's mainly had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career so far. And I would say he's addressed our defensive deficiencies as Harry Maguire, and I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United. To be quite honest, I thought he did well on his debut against Chelsea. And I think him and Lindelof, complement each other, fantastically well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs this season are obviously, going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. And obviously, we paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. And I did say, we overpaid for Harry Maguire. I will admit that we did overpay for him. And I did say in this market, this day and age, maybe £60 million would have been reasonable for Harry Maguire. But I did say over that mark, would have been paying too much for him. But I did say in these markets, this day and age, you've obviously got to overpay for our players. And obviously, we've got a history of spending, big on players. We've also got, we're also well known, for overpaying for players and giving, players substantial wages and that. But like I said, we can afford to do that because, we're a massive club, we've got massive revenues and that. But this is the thing, what we do is, we overpay for players and then, we let them go for next to nothing. So in that aspect, that's bad business in Man United. But Harry Maguire is our second most expensive sign. He's actually the second most expensive sign in the Premier League. And of course, he's the most expensive defender in the world and that. But I think he'll do really, really well for the football club will Harry Maguire in that. But Solskjaer, like I said, we spent around £148 million in total on them 3 players. Obviously, we addressed some of the problematic areas in the squad and that, but we didn't address all the problematic areas, throughout the course of the summer and that. But I did say it was going to be hard for us, to address all the problematic areas, and I did say, it was going to be very, very difficult indeed. I was very, very infuriated, that we didn't get a midfielder, throughout the course of the summer, because that was one of the priority areas, of course, where Manchester United needed to strengthen up, of course, was that midfield. So I have got a lot of element of concerns about our midfield. Don't forget, we was in search for a right winner, as well, throughout the course of the summer and that. And I do believe, the players, we was in for throughout the course of the summer transfer window will probably reignite our interest in them in the January transfer window, because we definitely know that further more investment is needed in January in that. These question marks around, this situation is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be still at the football club, by the time the January transfer window, comes. Obviously, if this bad run of form continues, then obviously I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will end up, getting sacked by the football club and all that. But the players we was in for will probably reignite our interest in them in January, like I said. With Bruno Fernandes now, actually, as I only just recently read up about this, I don't think now we're going to be going in for Bruno Fernandes in January, because according to recent reports, it did say that Bruno Fernandes is on the brink of joining Real Madrid for around £64 million, and that obviously, reflecting back in the summer, Bruno Fernandes, was one of our main priority targets, and I did say at the time, he would have been the right solution for Man United. I would have been excited about the prospects of Bruno Fernandes, playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield, because I think they would have complemented each other fantastically well, and that and it's a shame that we didn't get Bruno Fernandes to the football club and that, but definitely further more investment is needed in January. Probably maybe further more investment is needed next summer as well and that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had spoken with Ed Woodward about the lack of business in the summer transfer market. Anyway, the vast majority of Manchester United fans been demanding Ed Woodward out. They've also been demanding the Glazers and that out of the football club. But actually, reflecting back at the start of this season, I think the board had come to terms and they'd realised that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough throughout the course of the summer, even though Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had been assured that it would have been backed throughout the course of the summer and that. So I think the board did say, regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, should be safer for them at least this season. And that, as long as, obviously we're not in relegation, as long as, we don't finish mid-table, and that, I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job should be safe, according to what the board and that said. I think, one mistake for Manchester United was early on in the summer that, obviously we didn't appoint a sporting director in, because obviously, I was in search for a sporting director, throughout the course of the summer and that. And I did say, we needed to get a sporting director in, because I said, we needed a structural change at the club. Obviously, at the time, there was quite a few names mentioned, who could have taken that director's role at Man United, but we ended up not getting a sporting director in, and throughout the course of summer, we ended up letting Ed Woodward, oversee our transfer business and that. So I was disappointed, that we obviously, we didn't get a sporting director in and that. But like I did say, there's quite a lot of Man United fans as well, criticising, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactic term and all that. And I thought he tactically, got it right against Southampton. Obviously, just didn't work out. And but don't forget, we have got quite a few injuries in that. We have got quite a few injuries. Obviously, we do know that Eric Bailly is long-term absence. Obviously, Eric Bailly is out until Christmas time with an knee injury and that. And we do know how much of an imperative player that Eric Bailly is in that. Obviously, we've seen glimpses of how good he can be in his 3 years he's been with Man United. Obviously, this is his 4th year now as a Manchester United player, is Eric Bailly. But I did say his Man United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. Not only with the amount of injuries, I think also, with his fallout under managers. And I think, maybe after this season or maybe in January, I think, we would be open to selling Eric Bailly, if a suitable offer and that came in for him. Maybe we would look to recoup the initial, £30 million, that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016 and that. So obviously Eric Bailly is going to miss half of this season. He's sustained this injury throughout pre-season. We do know that Diego Dalot has been out with injury, and I do believe Dalot, should get given his opportunities this season. Dalot's only been at the club, don't forget, since last summer and that, and I thought he was impressive towards the back end of last season. That I think it's good in the aspect that Diego Dalot's versatility is very, very good, so he can play in other positions. He's predominantly a right back, but obviously Amram Sak is our first choice right back. You can also put Dalot as a left back. You can also put him as a right winger. We actually played him as a right winger quite a few times towards the back end last season. But it did confirm that Dalot should be back for the Leicester game. He will regain full fitness for the Leicester game and that, which is actually very, very good news. We know that Fosu Mensah is long-term absence as well, so obviously he's out with injury. Obviously, we've got a couple of imperative players out for injury. Don't forget Luke Shaw is out with a hamstring injury. I think Luke Shaw is out for up to a month. I think it said he's out until early October with a hamstring injury. Obviously, he sustained this injury against Crystal Palace, did Luke Shaw, and I'm very, very disappointed about that because with Luke Shaw, obviously he's our first choice left back. I don't think he's had a great start to this season, Luke Shaw, to be quite honest with you. But I think, reflecting on his impressive performances last season, he won the double player of the season, did Luke Shaw and that. And we do know there's a lot of players now at Man United, who are not reliable, and you can't trust a lot of them. But I think Luke Shaw is definitely, one of them reliable players without a shadow of a doubt. He does make a difference on that left-hand side. He's good at, when he's on form, he's good at making them overlapping runs and that. He's good at feeding the players ahead of him. So it's a shame that he's out with a hamstring injury. But it's during his Man United tenure anywhere, he's sustained quite a few injuries as Luke Shaw, but he's out with a hamstring injury. So I do believe in the game against Leicester, we'll either probably put Rojo on that left back position, or we'll probably put Ashley Young at left back again, like we'll put Ashley Young at left back against Southampton and that. Maybe Diego Dalot as well, could play at that left back against Leicester. So there's a choice of basically 3 players who could go at that left back position, to fulfil Luke Shaw's role. Obviously, like I said, Anthony Martial is out with injury. Obviously, he's got a thigh injury, is Anthony Martial. I hope, like I said, the injury is not too severe and that, it still remains uncertain if Martial, is going to be fit enough, to play against Leicester. Obviously, Martial, I think he's had a great start to this season, like I said earlier on in the video on that. Obviously, Martial's, I think, so far this season scored 2 goals and provided a couple of assists. I think he's got that finishing assets now as Martial. Don't get me wrong, I still don't think he's quite emulates that level as yet, but I think, he's developing really, really well. Obviously, Martial has scored 50 goals for the football club. He scored his 50th goal against Wolves. Obviously, the club giving him a new 5-year deal back in January and that. So Martial, he's under contract with the football club until 2024. But yeah, I think he's been a great servant so far for Manchester United. Martial is in his 5th season now as a Man United player. I think he's now been here 4 years, is it 4.5 years, something like that. He's been at the football club and that. And we have seen glimpses of how good he is, Anthony Martial. And I know he was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, but I still said then he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. And I thought Martial, did well in his debut season, back under Louis van Gaal there, he scored 17 goals in that in his debut season and that. Obviously scored on his debut against Liverpool. We do know in the past that Anthony Martial's been subject to quite a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back early on this summer, there was talks about him possibly leaving the football club. Obviously, there was talks about Martial, leaving the football club back under the Jose Mourinho era, because actually back under the Jose Mourinho era, obviously, Mourinho wanted to get rid of Anthony Martial and that, and I would have been disappointed if he left. Obviously, we paid quite a bit of money for him, we paid £36 million for him, but that potentially rises up to 57 or £58 million, based on the goals and achievements and and that. But Martial, of course, is still a very imperative player for the football club. He actually, primarily plays out wide, but obviously, he's playing more centrally this season because he seems to be more effective in that central position, of course, throughout pre-season. That's where you mainly see the best of Anthony Martial and that. But yeah, he's out with a thigh injury and that, and I'm very, very disappointed about that. We've obviously, got Lee Grant injured. We've obviously, got Lee Grant and that injured. So, we have got quite a few players out with injury in that. Like I updated you yesterday in regards to Paul Pogba and that. The good news is about Paul Pogba that he's going to be staying at the football club for this season. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had confirmed a couple of days ago, was it, that he's going to be staying at Manchester United for this season. That. But I still believe Paul Pogba's plans for the future is obviously to make a move to Real Madrid and that. Reportedly, Paul Pogba will reject any offers from Man United to renew his contract and that. This is obviously that had got confirmed and that, because we do know for the entirety of the summer basically he's been linked to move to Real Madrid. But again, another Paul Pogba has sustained an injury, so he's another player that's got an injury in that. As I did update you yesterday, it did get confirmed that Paul Pogba had withdrawn from the France squad, so he won't be going on international duty. Due to an ankle injury, he had sustained, in our 1-1 draw against Southampton. That, like I said, we do not know how severe the injury is yet, but it is an ankle injury. He has sustained in that, but we do not yet know how severe it is. So reportedly, Paul Pogba, will undergo a scan, to investigate the extent of the damage in that. So hopefully, his injury is not too severe, and it remains uncertain, whether he will be playing in the game against Leicester or not after the international break and that. But I did say, didn't I, if we can convince Paul Pogba to stay at the football club, which we have done, obviously, we've got to avoid him, getting any kind of injury, because, we haven't really got a backup to Paul Pogba and that. But he confirmed yesterday he has withdrawn from the France squad, and Paul Pogba, will be frustrated about that himself, because obviously we do know that he likes to, play for France, he likes to represent France, and that obviously, won the World Cup with them and that last summer. Probably likes to play more for France than he does with Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you in that. But we do know Real Madrid, will be infuriated themselves, and I think Zinedine Zidane's infuriated, that he didn't, get Paul Pogba this summer, because obviously, it was Zinedine Zidane identified, Paul Pogba as his number one target in that. Also Christian Eriksen, don't forget, was on Real Madrid's agenda, but obviously Real Madrid's preference was Paul Pogba over Christian Eriksen. Probably Christian Eriksen would have been a cheaper solution, for Real Madrid probably, but obviously Paul Pogba was their number one target. Real Madrid, they did good business, throughout the course of the summer. They spent around, was it 300 million or was it over 300 million pounds? They're recommending 5 good players in and that. Real Madrid did sell quite a few of their players, so they did generate some of that money back and that. But I think Paul Pogba will wait until January or next summer to make the move to Real Madrid and that. Obviously, I think analysing it throughout the course of summer, the main stumbling block of Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United, was obviously, due to the substantial amount, we'd put on Paul Pogba, because, we said, we wanted around £180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to meet this £180 million figure in that. But we was actually, very adamant anyway, he was not for sale in that, because obviously, we wanted him to remain at the football club. So we said to Real Madrid, we want £180 million. Obviously, that's actually just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus back in 2016, because obviously we paid £89 million for him from Juventus back in 2016 and that. You got Paul Pogba's brother coming out, was it last week as well, Mayfield, he's had his overarching view on his brother, on the, his brother's speculation that, and he actually, he fueled more speculation. He actually said that Paul Pogba could have ended up, signing for Real Madrid and that, and he probably knows how good, Paul Pogba, would represent Real Madrid, and especially if we continue, with this inconsistency and that, I think definitely, Paul Pogba, will leave the football club anywhere and that. And I did say the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the football club, obviously because of the lack of competitiveness. We're not in Champions League football and that. Maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, and he feels as though he isn't playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United and that. So these may be the couple of reasons, why he does want to leave the football club. We do know that there was talks about Paul Pogba possibly making a return back to Turin earlier on in the summer, because Paul Pogba, did have 4 good years in Turin. Hasn't mainly, replicated this at Manchester United and that. I think he's had a pretty decent start to this season as Paul Pogba. not the best. He hasn't been the best player this season. Obviously, he got 2 assists against Chelsea on the opening day and that. But I think he's had a pretty decent start to this season. I think prior to his penalty miss against Wolves, and I think prior to his poor performance he put out against Southampton the weekend, I think he's had a pretty decent start and that to the season. Obviously, Paul Pogba was subjected to online racial abuse. Don't forget, following his penalty miss against Wolves and that. But I think credit Paul Pogba in aspects. I thought Paul Pogba handled that situation really really well and that. But Paul Pogba anyway confirmed early on this summer, that he did want to leave Manchester United. He did say he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted, that he wanted to leave the football club and that, and he wanted to leave, of course, to rejuvenate his career. But Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And obviously, he's not only our most expensive sign, he's also, the highest. He's one of the highest paid players at the football club on 290 grand a week. Obviously, we do know that he's also a World Cup winner as well. Is Paul Pogba. But like I said, we have seen Paul Pogba at his best, as a Manchester United player. Don't forget, we have seen him at his best. Obviously, we mainly see him at his best, when he's freed up and that. Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's good at feeding the attacks and that. He can score goals. He can provide assists. Of course, when he's hitting top form and that. But yeah, he's arguably one of the best players in the world, of course, when he's hitting full form, is Paul Pogba. Obviously, Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, he actually, fueled more speculation at the start of pre-season, and he actually said, Paul Pogba, was in the process of leaving the football club and that. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, has been in the process of getting his client a transfer to Real Madrid completed, for the entirety of the summer, basically. But the good news is, Paul Pogba is remaining at the football club for this season, and I'm hopeful that his injury, of course, is not too severe in that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. But we do know now for definite, he's going to be remaining at the football club. Now look at our other midfielders we've got on that. We've got the likes of McTominay. To be fair to McTominay, I think he's had a pretty decent start to this season, as Scott McTominay. So I've been very, very impressed with his performances and that. And he obviously so far has been mainly playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield as McTominay. McTominay, I think when he's on form, he can play between the lines really, really well. I think his defensive abilities and that are really, really good, as Scott McTominay's. But I still don't know if he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. And I don't know if he's got all the attributes, to succeed as a Manchester United player. McTominay and that. I thought he also did well in pre-season. McTominay, I thought he did well, towards the back end of last season. That did Scott McTominay. But I still don't know if he's a long-term solution for the football club. I've got the same thoughts of what I've got of McTominay, of Fred and Pereira and that. Fred, I don't think he's yet played this season. Or he might have played this season, but not much. Obviously, I thought the games Fred played in throughout pre-season, he was quite impressive in that. Obviously, we do know that Fred has not performed to the same sort of level, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk. Because I will credit Fred in that aspect that he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk. Hasn't mainly, replicated this form at Manchester United. But Solskjaer did say he expects to see, better things. He expects to see big things from Fred this season. Now, and my opinions on Fred is that we paid just under £50 million for him last summer. Don't forget, Fred, enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, of course, because Fred, never really got the opportunity in that. And Fred is obviously, he's on that list of one of our most expensive signs. But I still say that Fred is a better solution. He's a better solution than Matic. He's better on the ball than Nemanja Matic and that, because we do know now that Nemanja Matic is a very, very inconsistent player for Manchester United. And he's no longer good enough, to represent the football club as Nemanja Matic and that. Obviously, I think this is now his third season now as a Man United player. His Matic, obviously Matic was first choice last season. That I don't think he's no longer first choice, due to his inconsistency. He's too slow, makes that midfield, of course, look totally imbalanced and that. So he's a very, very inconsistent player. He's Nemanja Matic and that. Obviously with Andres Pereira, like I said, I still don't know if he is the long-term solution for Man United. So I have got a lot of concerns about our midfield. But we definitely no need to address the midfield in the January transfer window. Like I said, it also went against us, throughout the course of the summer. Obviously, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League, and I did say, like I said before, certain players at a certain calibre, would have had reservations, about joining the football club, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League and that. But for me, there's definitely still further more investment needed in the squad and that. And like I did say to you, I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. And I hope to say that I hope to say that, you know, he's got all the attributes and he's got the stature, you know, to get us in that commanding position. And, you know, I'm starting to have doubts now that he can do this, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. You know, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. You know, he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And he did say at the start of the summer, you know, he was following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I just hope, I really hope it works out under Solskjaer. Like I said, you know, the traditions of the football club. And like I said, you know, we're not really known for the sacking club anyway. You know, we've had, you know, Solskjaer's our fourth manager since Ferguson's retirement back in 2013. Obviously, we already know that 3 managers have been sacked from the football club already, and we haven't got the structure to keep sacking it. We haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers and that. But I did say, you know, we have got big ambitions for the future and that, and obviously want to get back to winning silverware and that. Want to get back to winning silverware. This is something Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the football club. Also wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club as well. But I think, you know, there's the vast majority of pundits out there that, you know, that have got doubts that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will bring that fear factor, you know, back to Manchester United and that. And I don't know, I just don't think, you know, Solskjaer can do it, you know, to be quite honest with you. You know, he has got experience as a manager, you know, but not really to the highest level, you know, let's be honest. That's an element of concern. You know, Solskjaer did really well last season, you know, when he was interim manager at Manchester United in his first 3 months at the football club. You know, he did really well in that. You know, the results were good, the performances in that were good. But since he got the job permanently, you know, we just haven't replicated many of this and that. You know, and, you know, we had a bad couple of months towards the back end of last season. You know, the performances were poor. You know, obviously, you know, we lost to Cardiff at home in the last game of last season. We drew with Huddersfield, 1-1 on the second to last game of last season. That so these performances are just not good enough. But last season was a huge disappointment. You know, we finished 6th. You know, we failed to qualify for the Champions League. Last season we finished 32 points behind Manchester City in that. And like I did say, I think we should have a better season this season. But if we carry on with this bad run of form, we could even enjoy a worse season than what we saw, of course, last season. And obviously, you know, we're a club at this size. You know, this cannot be allowed to happen. I'm afraid. But obviously we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you can still say, is in the process of rebuilding. He's got 3 players in, but the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So £148 million has been spent this summer. Just under £400 million was spent under Mourinho. Over £200 million was spent under Louis van Gaal. Obviously, you know, just under £67 million was spent under David Moyes and that. And that, you know, that works out up to just under £1 billion that we spent in the last 6 years in the football club. So it just proves basically always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players doesn't always guarantee you success, and that has been proven with Manchester United, of course, in the last 6 years or so. And I did say I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. Of course, you know, we've had different managers with different sorts of philosophies and that. I already explained the reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho, even though Mourinho was regarded as one of the best managers in the world. Obviously, you know, he's won stuff on that everywhere he's been in that. It didn't work out under him because maybe perhaps we appointed him in too late. Obviously, there was no sort of winning philosophy under Mourinho. There was no sort of transfer strategy under Mourinho. Obviously, you know, he had bad disputes with the top players. He also didn't get on with the board, did Mourinho. Also, you know, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't back in the signings that Mourinho wanted to recommend in to the football club and that. But this is the reasons why it didn't work out under him, even though he won the Europa League and League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. And like I said, under Van Gaal, didn't work out under him because he didn't have like the right sort of philosophy for Man United. Obviously, you know, the football was turgid in that under Van Gaal. And like I said, I had the same sort of level of hatred for Louis van Gaal and I did David Moyes. You know, the David Moyes didn't work out under him. Like I said at the start, it wouldn't have worked out under David Moyes, obviously, you know, because he never had that proven pedigree. Obviously, never had, you know, experience of managing to the highest level, and that David Moyes, obviously, you know, he did well with Everton and that. Obviously, you know, he served about 10 years there with Everton, you know, David Moyes, but just didn't work out for him, Man United. He only had a short tenure with the club anyway. I think he only lasted around, was it 8 or 9 months? Obviously, at the time it was Ferguson that recommended him. Moyes got recommended by a legend of Alex Ferguson, basically, because obviously they were both Scottish and that, and, you know, obviously at that time, you know, they got on, you know, really well and that. But like I said, you know, regardless who our manager is, you know, no one's gonna ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. You know, we're never gonna replicate, you know, what we did under Alex Ferguson and that. And I did say now, this team at this day and age, I hope it can, you know, replicate what the team did in that under Alex Ferguson. But I have got serious doubts about that at the moment. But I do. Some of the blame's got to be. Some of the blame does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of the negative results and that. It does, some of it does stem from him. With his tactics and that. With maybe he's making some wrong decisions. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but obviously you've got to also blame the team as well. But I'm afraid it's mainly the managers that get the blame and that. But I just want us, to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club and that. I've also been disappointed with Jesse Lingard's performances so far this season. He's been a huge disappointment for Manchester United. Jesse Lingard, he's been very, very disappointing indeed. And he was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season with Jesse Lingard. He was dropped in the game against Southampton, from the start he was. But actually, he came on in the game, did Jesse Lingard and that. So, Lingard can play as a number 10. He can also play out wide, just like Juan Mata can. I thought Juan Mata, was actually our best player the weekend against Southampton. Obviously, we know that Juan Mata's initially lost his place in the team. Obviously, he's no longer a first choice in that. But obviously, Juan Mata is at the football club for another 3 years, I should presume. He signed a new contract earlier on in the summer and that, which was very, very good news in that. But Jesse Lingard's been very, very disappointing. Angel Gomez, I think, definitely needs to get given the chance against Leicester. I'm surprised Angel Gomez didn't participate against Southampton. I did say he was going to be a big part of the squad this season, Angel Gomez. Mason Greenwood as well. I think he's definitely got to start from the start against Leicester. Obviously, Solskjaer confirmed early on at the start of the season that Mason Greenwood's obviously been assured more opportunities and that. Obviously, Mason Greenwood has made this season so far 4 substitute appearances, but he definitely needs to start a game from the start and that. And I think Mason Greenwood has got all the attributes to succeed as a Man United player, and I think he can replicate now in the first team Man United of what he did in the Man United reserve team last season. So I think Mason Greenwood is definitely going to be a big part of the squad this season. So we have got quite a few young upcoming players, and I did say I think they'll become a fruition this season. But like I said, at the moment, you've got to be honest, City strides ahead of us, Liverpool and that strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we'll catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But if we don't finish in the top 4 this season, or we're not competing for the top 4 by the January transfer window, I think, that, like I said, De Gea will probably leave anywhere. Like I said, Solskjaer probably will be sacked from the football club and that. So, we've got to pick up results quickly. Because, if we're dropping him more points and that, there's going to be less chance for, getting that top 4 and that. We've definitely got to get that top 4 this season because, we failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the last 6 seasons since Alex Ferguson's retirement. I hope we can win the Europa League as well this season. Won it a couple of years ago under the Jose Mourinho era, beating Ajax in the final, winning by 2 goals to 0 and that. I think I've seen my group for the Europa League. I think we've got FC Astana coming up. I think they're in the Kazakhstan Premier League, FC Astana. I think we've also got, who's the others we've got in our thing now? I think we've also got AK Alsmar in our group, and I think we've got Partizan Beograd in our group as well. So hopefully, we can succeed in the Europa League. And obviously, as you all know, we've got Rochdale coming up soon in the Carabao Cup. But I said, Leicester's going to be a tough game after the international break. We usually do beat Leicester mainly, but it's going to be a tough game. Leicester have had a pretty decent start to this season. They've registered 8 points from possible 12 so far. So they've won 2 games out of 4. They've won 2 and drawn 2. So they've had a pretty decent start as well to the season now. But hopefully, we know that Dalot should be, fully fit, for the Leicester game. Martial and Luke Shaw. We know Luke Shaw's obviously not going to be, but Martial, I'm not too sure about him. Pogba, he still remains uncertain if he's going to be fit enough, for the game against Leicester and that. So, but due to the injuries, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may have to rotate again. And I did say on a regular basis this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go with that 4-2-3-1 formation. That's that's what he'll mainly go with. I do presume. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.